Welcome to the Golden Hour podcast. I am your host, Kristen, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about fathers. I didn't speak on this on Mother's Day, but I will be posting the episode on the Woman with Purpose podcast in regards to the women's edition. For this episode, we're going to be talking about the mind of a broken man, Father's edition. Father's Day is rapidly approaching, and as we know, fathers are one of the more absent figures in a household, and I just want to shed a little light on that. So when you grow up without a traditional family, a broken family creates a broken person. And now, a pot that is broken is thrown into the fire to be rescued, because that pot is going to be melted and is going to be able to be restored. There is only one who can restore a man and a woman, and that's God. So the potter, which is our creator, which is God, when he comes into your life, he breaks you. Okay, you may already be broken, but he's here to refine you and finish you. So when you are speaking about the mind of a broken man, we have to first try to analyze and figure out why that man is broken. Did that man come from a broken household? Did that man grow up in a nurturing and supportive household from mother and father? Well, if he hasn't received that, he is going to be broken as a man. And I'm not just counting out his adult life, because you can learn every day. You can learn to become a better man, just like a woman can learn to become a better woman. But as stated, I'm going to save the women's portion for our women's podcast, The Woman with Purpose. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into the mind of a broken man. I have 4 brothers. I have a son. And while as though I am not a man, I grew up around a lot of men, and I'm raising a man. So I can see it from a woman's point of view, and just answering some of the questions and realizing some of the questions that my own son asked me, as well as other men. So the first thing I want to point out is, as women, we need to stop just acknowledging what the man is doing wrong, and to look at it from a perspective of, well, maybe he's trying to do this. I'm not saying hold his hand. That is not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying open your perspective and view it from the lens of him. And that would help you be able to fully understand what situation he's going through. Now, if he's intentionally doing things to make him unreliable, then you have to say something. But in the mind of a broken man, it's very intricate, because men suffer in silence. They rarely voice their opinions, and they rarely speak and express their emotions. And in hindsight, it creates a walking tornado. And in better terms, it creates a walking tornado because he can't express himself, especially if he grew up in a household where as though he was always reprimanded for expressing emotions and doing things a certain way, which did not seem, quote unquote, the norm for a young man to conduct himself. So understanding that and realizing that aspect, it will make you more sensitive to his needs, as well as him being more sensitive to yours. So for men who are not actively involved in their children's lives, it's a strain on every person affected in a relationship, and most importantly, the children. So what I want to say is that instead of saying that he's a deadbeat and he does nothing for his children, look at it from his viewpoint. So the mind of a broken man, it goes into levels and levels and levels of this, because men are the household of the family. They are the back. They are the forefront. And if the man is not actively conducting himself in a manner that is safe for anyone, he puts everyone at risk. So you really truly have to lean on God at this time, because the man is broken, and it's not an end all, because he can be fixed. But the first thing, he has to want to be fixed. So how can the mind of a broken man be fixed? By first realizing that he needs help. And that can be hard for men, because they're men. A lot of men have a hard time submitting to something that is greater than themselves, and especially if they are used to being in a male dominant role. So we also have to understand that there is no man without a woman. For we as women birth men and women, yet men seem to be independent from the submission of God. Not all men, but some men. And for a man to be fully submissive to God, it's seen as a complex issue, because they are men and not into submitting to no one else, and taking into accountability for the things that they need to work on. But they also have to realize that they are children of God as well. We all are children of God. So this podcast is entitled the Mind of a Broken Man, and this will have to definitely be broken up in series. And on the next few episodes, I will be having actual men speaking about this. Men who are fathers, men who are absent in their children's life, a wide range of men, so we can really get to the root of the problem. And the same will be going on the Women's with Purpose podcast, hosted by myself, Kristen. So in hindsight, the mind of a broken man refers to his traumatic experiences, his cognitive dissonance, or any mental health struggles such as depression, anxiety, or disassociation with reality. So, in psychological terms, this fragmentation can result from stress. Men deal with stress differently from women. They hold into their emotions. So having unresolved emotions can, in fact, heighten their stress level. And you have to also factor in that they're full of testosterone. So testosterone, even though we get a little women, we know that it amps you up. So if they're always walking around with that, they're fired up. And we want them to be fired up for the right reason, which is glorifying God. And it also can just be neurological conditions. Some things you can't control, but what we can control is how we treat others and how we treat ourselves. So understanding your identity and in Christ, and understanding who you are first, will definitely aid you in making this process a lot easier. So without further ado, I want to break down a couple ways that we can identify the mind of a broken man. He's withdrawn. He refuses to receive help. He doesn't want to acknowledge that he has certain areas of weaknesses, because he views it just as that, a weakness. He has the inability to open up because he's used to being hurt. And we can all understand the feeling of being hurt, especially by someone whom we perceive should love us. It can be hard on all of us. And, healing looks different for everyone. So what may take you, let's say, a year to overcome, it takes men a lot longer, because men don't resolve issues right away. Men look for different ways to cover up those issues. Men bury themselves in work. They bury themselves in alcoholism. They bury themselves in other women to band-aid the issues that they may be dealing with, without fully addressing the issues. So not fully resolving the issue just creates a cycle of unresolved healing, and it can transfer to generation to generation and to generation. And when they have seed, the seed comes from the man. So if the man is struggling with all these issues, it's going to get into their child. So we really have to tackle these issues at home. And the man is the forefront of the family. So if the man is not right, the woman is not right. Because she's supposed to be listening to him. And if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, she is to turn to God. But a lot of the times today, people have free will. They can go wherever they want to go and for praise and worship. But I'm a woman of God. And that's why I decided to create 2 separate venues that can cover all on the Golden Hour podcast Enlightenment Edition, as well as a separate sector for women. And we are actively working in spaces to bring community partnerships with all men. I had the opportunity to speak with a group of men who are fathers, and it was really enlightening because I was able to see how men that are actually fathers care about their children, how they really want to be a part of their life, how they really want to do more than just say I'm a father. They want to be involved in everything just as women are. I mean, I feel like that, if they were able to actually conceive and have the baby themselves just so they can feel what it's like and to fully understand what it's like to carry that baby and, really help their wives as much as they can, they would. But in all reality, honestly, we know that would be impossible because the way men handle issues, they would want to quit in probably like the first, not even 30 days. So honestly, it's very difficult, and I am grateful that we are able to bear more of the bearing of children and a lot of other things that we're able to do. But I highly recommend you checking out the Woman with Purpose podcast because that is specifically designed for women. So back to me speaking with the group of men. It was a very, very enlightening encounter. We were in church, and it was a safe space for men because a lot of the issues that came up were issues that these men were holding on to for years. They were holding on to this situation for years. And me being the first person that they saw that actively listened to them, it just made all the difference. So I said it to say because, like I said, we're going to be creating a lot of programs for men to express themselves. It can always be confidential and always secret because men need support just as much as women need support. So, speaking with a young man, we were discussing the topic of police brutality. So, we already know men get brutalized in police brutality cases a lot more than the other quote-unquote man. And we know we're talking about African American men. So, with that already knowing that is an issue, we need to really zero down and try to understand as people just how much mental health is affecting our men. So the mind of a broken man is not just about that man is broken. It's about acknowledging what is broken in that man and leading him closer to Christ to resolve that issue. I'm going to let that sink in. So back to the community aspect of the fatherhood partnership and agreement. So God did bless me with this opportunity, and I'm truly grateful to the persons who were in organization of it. We will definitely be posting their information as well, and more than likely have them on the show as a guest. It is an online discussion with fathers, but I'm not going to speak too much on that because it's not set in stone. So, speaking with these group of fathers about the effects of absent fathers and various issues stemming from their absence, the reasons why they are absent, and the effect that it has on women's and a man's mental health.